Hello, friends. Welcome to our special class for spooky season. It's time for October Mediumship and Magic. We're doing this intentionally at the beginning of October so you have time to use some of the things that we're going to talk about this year. I'm Christiana Gaudet. I am your Tarot Fairy Godmother. I'm so happy to see you here. If you're watching the replay, thanks so much for being here. Please do leave a comment and like the video. And if you're just coming in live, I'm seeing you come on in, and I'm so glad that you are here. Of course, a special shout out to the members and the moderators. So happy to see you all. I'm going to hop right on over to CardCam. Hang on one sec, let's do that. Okay, where we are going to do the very first thing we're going to do this evening. For those of you who were with us yesterday morning for the 3-card weekly reading, I thought it would be fun, and it was, to use my brand new Halloween weight from James Batterby. Well, actually, it was a gift from Brenda Elizabeth, but published by Tarot Collectibles, which is right there, James Batterby. And because it is a weight deck, the decks he makes are all takeoffs on weight, I didn't bother to look through the cards. Because I knew, it's going to be weight, it's going to be weight enough that I can do this, Brenda might have told me when she gave me the deck that there were extra cards. She might have told me that. But I was so focused on it's a weight deck, I don't need to worry about it. And it was not until we were going through and pulling cards, and someone had already received the Fool, but then someone else received the Fool. And it happened at that time that Amy Foreman came in and heard me said, we saw the Fool before, but it wasn't Ronald McDonald. And she thought that was funny, and I thought that was funny. And so I thought I would go through the deck and just see, what are the repeat cards? And we're not really going to talk about it. Right, Medium That Rocks. It's a trick of a treat, yes. But in our conversation tonight, I have really separated, I've separated out our topics. And we're going to start with sort of the secular stuff. The tarot as inspiring our costumes, tarot as inspiring our decor if we're throwing Halloween parties. And so let me know, have you ever worn a tarot costume, either at a tarot conference or for Halloween? Have you ever been a tarot card? And if so, which card? And have you ever used tarot to decorate for Halloween? Let me know your stories there while I show you these repeats. And of course, falling sort of under the secular aspect of things, there are so many Halloween-themed decks. Do you have any Halloween-themed decks? And do you recommend? Are there Halloween-themed decks that you recommend, and do you use them? Now, okay, so what are our topics? There's secular. There's also sort of just like the professional piece. If you're a professional reader, are you doing Halloween parties, and do you use Halloween decks at Halloween parties? Should I use this deck at a Halloween party? It's an interesting question. So let us know, Halloween decks, reading at Halloween parties, Halloween decor using tarot, and tarot costumes. And we've got a couple people, Smile Soul 20, nope, Ashley can't say I've dressed as a tarot card, but that sounds very cool. If you were to do a tarot card costume, what might it be? Now, let me show you. We have not one, not two, but 3 Fools. So there's like the least Halloween, middle Halloween, and hard Halloween right here, right? So which other cards were duplicated? And it feels so random to me Medium that rocks, I would be the fool. There you go. Hey, Sally, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So we have two lovers. The only major arcana cards that are duplicated are the Fool and the Lovers. And then we have two Swords cards duplicated. The Three of Swords, take your pick, and the Six of Swords. Anna Kay, I would be the Priestess. I love that. Perfect, perfect. All right. Christina, Everyday Witch, I usually use around Halloween more, but I use it at other times as well. No Halloween costumes or decor. And I will tell you that, like, when I read at Halloween parties, I try not to be in costume. I don't like to do the fortune teller costume, because, sorry, I'm the fortune teller. My costume is whatever I'm wearing today. And I am not a reader that likes to costume. Now, Amy Foreman, she is great at that. And in fact, she's going to be at StaarCon helping everyone get costumed, because we are doing a fancy dress cosplay thing Saturday night. So if you're coming to StaarCon, bring a costume any kind. Okay, so Tanya Marie, I got asked to work my first Halloween party in a couple of weeks. I'm nervous and excited. Should I get a Halloween deck? I don't have one. The closest I have is the Dark Fairy. So here's what I'm going to say. As someone who is a veteran of Halloween parties, I have never used a special deck for a Halloween party. I have this Halloween deck now. I might, but probably not. Like, if I'm going to read a party, here's my take on reading at a party. Party readings are hard, especially Halloween parties where people are in costume. There's probably going to be a lot of a lot of alcohol flowing. And you're probably not going to be doing like 20-minute readings up in the bedroom. You're probably going to be in a corner and doing flow at a table. And so for me, I'm just going to use the deck that I am most comfortable working with. So yeah, my advice to anyone doing Halloween parties, go for your comfort, because what you're going to want to do is give those people a great experience. Nick, that sounds like so much fun. I really want to go to StaarCon. Man, we would love to have you at StaarCon. Abso-freaking-lutely. Right, there will be lots of alcohol, perhaps, if it's that kind of party, but definitely not you, yes. But reading for people who are drinking is not easy. So that's something, too. Medium that rocks. I use my Robert Place's Vampire Tarot deck at this time of year. Perfect. Dina Moskowitz, I like a Halloween Oracle deck with regular tarot. Stephanie DeMarco has a nice one. Christine Hallowell, I have the Everyday Witch Tarot deck, the Sugar Skull Tarot deck, and Every Witch's Familiars deck by Deborah Blake. I like all three and use them around this time of year. And thank you, Medium That Rocks, Dina Moskowitz, and Christine Hallowell. Thank you so much for being members. Trey, so this is the point that you're making. Trey Cameron, thank you for being a member. This deck, the Weight Halloween deck, Trey says, I feel the public is most familiar with RWS, so they might be receptive to this one because the images are sort of familiar. And I might be able to do a good job reading it for the same reason. I'm not going to be like, which card is this? Right? Stacy DeMarco. DeMarco is the name of the Halloween Oracle designer. Got it. Now, do I pull their cards or do I let them pull their cards? I don't typically let people pull their cards. Very rarely. In my office or at a small party, I let people cut the deck. But if I'm reading the cattle call, if it's a party with flow, I don't like people to touch my cards at all. Not at all. No. No. Tanya, what do you charge for something like that? Being my first one, I had no idea. The range in my area, anywhere between 100 to 300 an hour. Yeah, that's right. And just price yourself in there. and you're good. You're good. Hey, Ness, you made it. Good to see you. Okay, so that was the first part, the secular stuff, the tarot decks for this time of year, and stuff about working parties. If you have other questions around that stuff, that's okay. We're not going to be strictly segmented. But I wanted to move into, oh my gosh, Trey, forcing people to shuffle tarot cards who don't know how to shuffle cards that size is frustrating. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Medium That Rocks, Trick or Treat Tarot is beautiful. There are so many. Dora Ferreira, so good to see you. Thanks for being a member. I just bought the Tarot of the Witches and the Halloween Tarot. They are both so cute. Christine Hallowell, I noticed that some decks have a Halloween vibe and other decks are more an autumn-fall feel. Sugar Skull Tarot deck celebrates the Mexican Day of the Dead. Okay, Aisha, we're not doing those kinds of readings today. So now, let's talk about divination this time of year. Do you notice that your divination, whether it's tarot, oracle, whatever, do you notice that your divination changes or is different at this time of year? Why do I ask? Well, Halloween, the Mexican Day of the Dead, like it all happens this time of year. Why? It's the cross-quarter day between the autumnal equinox and the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, well, actually, in the southern hemisphere, technically, it's different. Right. And Dora, you're right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. In Brazil, you're in spring. Right. So do you celebrate anything like Halloween in October, or is it completely different? And Betty, don't you love the people who are afraid of tarot cards and readers? It can piss me off. Although the funny thing is, those people will have readings at Halloween because it's traditional at Halloween. So one of the things I love about doing readings at Halloween and working Halloween parties is I get to read for those people. And as long as I swallow my ire at them and just give them a good reading and they learn it's not to be afraid of, I've actually done a public service. So there is that. Oh, and Medium That Rocks, you pull out your crystal skulls. Okay, so Dora, we have Halloween parties, but they're imported. Our Day of the Dead is November 2nd, and it's a very Catholic thing. So still that time of year then. So interesting. So it's not, like, I think of it as being because of that cross-quarter day, but not necessarily, but it still is a cross-quarter day. So it's an interesting thing. Because it does feel like all over the world, October, the end of October, beginning of November, is this time where we feel like spirit communication is more possible. Now, when we think about Halloween or the Celtic holiday of Samhain, it's really about three things. It's about the final harvest. It's about honoring our ancestors, and it's actually considered the witches' new year. So those are sort of the spiritual themes. If you're coming at it from like a Celtic perspective, those are the spiritual themes you would deal with. What spiritual themes do you associate with this time of year, if any? I mean, I am definitely thinking of it as the time of the ancestors. I do feel like a lot of people who are like not well, but sort of not dead, but not well, very often make their final journey this time of year. Like I cannot verify this, but it does seem like it's easier for people to pass this time of year. Dora, I don't know if our indigenous people had any kind of celebration We import the Catholic traditions from the Portuguese settlers. Right. And Trey, and thank you for that, Dora. I really appreciate that. Trey, regarding people who are afraid of tarot, I honestly feel bad for those people. If they fear tarot, they probably fear a lot of other things too. It's so true. Okay, so let's talk about divination at this time of year, but not mediumship. Like, my theory is that this time of year is the easiest and best time to do mediumship. And so we're going to talk about mediumship separately. Right, Tanya. Right, because the veil is thinnest now. Exactly. Hey, Sarah, good to see you. Thank you. And Anna, you notice a lot of people passing around Christmas and also around their birthdays. Interesting. All right, so let's talk about how we can use themes from this time of year in our divination. So again, spiritually, if you're looking at it from a more Celtic perspective or a more Wiccan perspective, the themes of Halloween are harvest, ancestors, and the new year. And so we could do themes, we could do spreads or ask questions around those themes. But secular Halloween offers us so much, right? We have costumes. So we could do readings about the masks we wear and what our true self is. We have trick or treating, which of course began as a hope of appeasing the spirits, giving them treats so they do not play tricks on us. And that's where costuming comes from too, to hide amongst the returning spirits. So Dina, sweetness, there's a theme of sweetness because we're giving candy. That's perfect, a theme of sweetness. So I'd like you all to get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil if you do not already have one, and make a list of things that are themes here for you. So we've got sweetness, we've got masks and costuming, we've got connection with the ancestors, we've got harvest, and we've got New Year. What other Halloween themes are there? There is the whole theme of trick and treat. What is a trick? What is a treat? Right, transformation. That's good, Trey. Interesting, Nick. And Nick, thank you for being a member. Trey, thank you for being a member. This is the only time of year I feel okay. Like myself, like I'm alive, like most comfortable, and like I finally fit in on this planet, I guess. I usually thrive during this time, usually. Transmutation, ooh, good words. Oh, Dina, this is good. What is a horror in your life? So I am all about coming up with interesting questions for readings and creating spreads with holiday themes. I mean, you could make a spread where the cards like are shaped like a jack-o'-lantern if you wanted, right? Something like that. Tanya Marie, communication, mediumship seems stronger now. Yes, absolutely yes. So make a list of these different themes and think about, like, do what Dina did. Think about the questions that you could ask. What is a horror in, like, there's a 2-card reading right there. What is a horror in your life and what can you do with it? Dina says, what are you scared of right now? And what can you know about that? Like, I love that as a 2-card reading. What are you scared of right now? And then what can you know about this, right? What healing can you find? So these are the kinds of questions that make so much sense to ask of the cards at this time. What other questions can you think of? Of course, being that it is the Witch's New Year. Cards for the new year, you know? What am I leaving behind? What am I opening up to? When we talk about the third and final harvest that Halloween also is, what am I harvesting in my life? Or what do I need to do to create the harvest that I want to create? These are all great questions. So, like, imagine a jack-o'-lantern spread, okay? Where what would we have? What's on a jack-o'-lantern? We would have 2 eyes. So what if we made, for the 2 eyes, what if we made, like, and I'll do this as a collective reading for all of us, okay? Here's a trick, and here's a treat. Here's a trick, and here's a treat. Do your jack-o'-lanterns have a nose? Mine usually did. And so for the nose, I'm going to say, looking forward to the new year, what do we need to know? And then I'm going to do 3 cards for the jack-o'-lantern grin. So we've got the trick, the treat, the new year. And I'm going to go with Dina's theme of fear. So we've got the thing that scares us, the worst thing that could happen, we'll make him a smile, right? The best thing that could happen from that thing that scares us. Okay, so as a collective reading, what's a trick that we're facing? Poor communication and stupidity on the internet. What's a treat that we're facing? The ability to be in the high vibration of unconditional love. What can we know for the new year? That perhaps we can communicate better going forward. What is something that scares us? Stepping into our own power to be the creative, spiritual people that we are. What is, now how did I do this? What, it was a difficult thing, a good thing. So if we do this, what's a difficult thing about it? It may not always go the way we want, but what's a good thing? It won't be scary anymore. That's simple, right? There's the jack-o'-lantern spread. You can do this. It's that simple. Hey, Pat, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Nick, I'm heavily in my shadow right now as I live my actual nightmare. I'm trying to make the best of it, but it's moment-to-moment struggle not to let it overtake me completely. I get it. Christine, other themes. Christine Hallowell. Other themes: death, personal transformation, mythical creatures, paranormal ghosts. What haunts us? Oh, what haunts us? Yes. Trey, what are your thoughts about those court cards? So that's a fun thing that we can do. Now, what about magic at this time? Y'all are on this now. Medium that rocks. What monsters are you battling? That's good. Christine, the Ghost Tarot deck, I have it as well. Yeah, I have Lisa Hunt, Ghosts and Spirits. I like that one. Dina, a Witch's Broom Tarot spread. That sounds fabulous. Oh, this is good. Tanya Marie, what needs to be thrown into the Samhain bonfire? That is good. Yeah, Trey, yeah, they are just a lot. Yeah, that absolutely. There were a lot, and they said a lot. Absolutely true. So now, let's talk about tarot magic for this time of year. What magic do you feel like we are supported in doing? Obviously, generational healing, ancestral healing is one. So, how would you do that with tarot? What I would do to do any kind of ancestral healing, be it wanting to confer healing on my kids to break the generational curses we've given them, or whether it is for myself to heal from those same things, I think I would always want to use, and I'm finding it now. Did I pre-pull it? I did not. But I would always want to use the Ten of Pentacles for that. And what I would probably do is put it on my altar. I would put it on my altar, and I would maybe write out my intentions for it, is something I might do at this time of year. Medium That Rocks suggests moon magic, certainly. Tanya Marie uses a paranormal tarot deck. I've not heard of that. That sounds great. And Tanya Marie suggests that this time of year is good for shadow work. Ooh, magic for dropping the masks. That is freaking brilliant. Oh, what cards? So magic to allow ourselves to be our authentic selves. What a beautiful spell to do this time of year. What would you use? What cards could we use? And this is a question for anyone, not just Tanya Marie, but anyone. What cards might you use to be your more authentic self by dropping your mask? Any of the court cards I think could work. I'm going to say the Fool might be a great card. You could use more than one. Oh, Dina suggests aces. I love that. Medium That Rocks says death. All good. And then what do we do with these cards? Well, again, you can put them on your altar. You can write your intentions. You can speak your intentions. Oh, I love that. Tanya Marie, the Star. Oh, this is smart. Ness, the Seven of Cups reversed. Betty Flesher, Nine of Pentacles. I love that. Christine Hollowell, the Judgment card. I love all of this, and I would be tempted to put all of them on my altar. You can also take one and hold it to your heart, breathe it in, that kind of thing. All of that. You can print them out and carry them with you. Yeah, Tanya, the Star because of nakedness and vulnerability. I love that. Oh, Dina, you could do cord cutting magic using the swords. Betty, for dropping the mask, the World. Von Ray writing notes. Yeah, exactly. But see, it's this simple. The goal of this class, my goal coming here, was not so much to give y'all a recipe and say, okay, in the next 3 weeks, do this spread, this spell. What I wanted to do was let you know these are the themes, and this is how easy it is to create spreads, questions, and magic with your cards specific for this time of year. Oh, Ness, Moon reversed. I love that. I love that. Okay, what about magic to discover a family secret that died with your parents? That kind of thing. To discover the truth. And that, I think, the moon would be really good for that too. Right? So there's a lot that we can do. Now that's spooky. But yeah, so something like that, like discovery magic. I have done, High Priestess, I like that, Ness. Yeah, I've done discovery magic over long periods of time and short periods of time. When I needed to find an object that my dead mother had hidden and not told me where it was and I needed it, I literally did magic in that moment to find it, and I found it. But tarot magic with the ancestors over the course of the season to solve the family secret. I would pull a bunch of cards, obviously the Ten of Pentacles. There's probably some court cards to represent the specific family members, and then a lot of cards about finding truth. Ace of Swords, Knight of Swords, those kinds of things. Oh, Ashley, Devil, yeah, and I'd reverse it. Carolyn, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. And I would expect that spell to work itself over a period of time. I would not expect it to happen quickly. I would expect it would come. Oh, Dina, somehow temperance comes to mind in the act of moving the water between cups. Sure. Nick, I'm a whole new person now and get to discover myself again. I just want to embrace being completely broken down so I can hopefully build back better. All right. And I mean, this is a good season to do tarot magic for exactly that. You know, like really, you could go through the deck, look through the deck, and pick out the cards that are cards that you identify with or that describe what you want to step into. And there's your tarot magic. It's perfect. Hey, Caroline McLaughlin, good to see you. Betty Fletcher, Seven of Swords reversed. Yeah, absolutely, yes. Absolutely. So what about the mediumship portion of our program? Nick says, people are so scared of the death card, but I wish they understood the deeper meanings because it's so useful. Seriously. So mediumship. We can, certainly do mediumship readings essentially the same way that we do any kind of reading. Now, if we want to do magic for invocation of our loved ones so that we may commune with them or that they will watch over us, we can do that. There's like a magical divination situation where we can do the invocation and then do a divination. So there's a lot there that we can do. Ooh, Dina, I love this for questions or a spread. What's breaking down? What's becoming the hidden seed for the future? That's beautiful. Now, cards for this kind of mediumship magic. We've got the High Priestess, yes, Judgment, Six of Cups, all good stuff. All good stuff. Now, if you want to do a reading about someone who has passed on, or literally to get to communicate with, not about someone who has passed on, but to communicate with someone who has passed on, you can do that. And you can do it any time of year, but the theory is it's a little easier this time of year. Dina, look for signification based on astrology sign of the deceased loved one. Sure. Right, the court card significator based on astrology. Makes sense. So, if we are talking about just doing a mediumship reading, like there's a lot of ways to do that. And yeah, you can do a whole invocation. And I love the idea of using a significator, a court card, for the person you're trying to bring in. But that's an interesting question, isn't it? Because there are two kinds of mediumship, really. One is, I would like a message from Uncle Larry. And the other is, who's around me and what do they have to say? Two different kinds, right? Carolyn B., I recently did a mediumship reading for my mother whose brother recently passed. So your uncle then, how did that go? And it's so interesting when it's family. How did that go? So Tanya Marie, this is an interesting one. I heard somewhere that each of the court cards equate to one of the 16 Myers-Briggs personalities. That's such an interesting thing. How did that come about? Well, it came about simply because there are 16 court cards and 16 personality types. And so, of course, someone had to try to put that together. It is an interesting thing. I've not really looked into how it really fits and if it does really fit or how forced it is, but it's pretty cool. So Nick, I'm wary of attempting invocation. I have trust issues. And that's an interesting thing too, because there is invocation and evocation. And sometimes evocation is enough. What's the difference? Evocation calls it to mind. Invocation calls it to the room. Right? So, let's see. Trey, I've had mediumship experience with the cards, but mostly without. And when it happened with tarot, it just came out. It wasn't intentional. Good point. Good point. At any time of the year, in any reading, it can happen that you're like, oh my gosh, there it is. And it can happen because you see it in the cards, or it can happen because it just happens while you're doing the reading. Trey Cameron, it really freaked out the person I was reading for, I bet. I bet. Dina, right, ask who is around us now and pick a card. Oh, good, Carolyn, thank you. I pulled a card that gave me a message that he was sending her signs and still with her. Then I started shuffling again and a card jumped out and landed in front of my mother. It was, I'll wait for the next bit. Right, Tanya, same here. They take over the reading. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And normally that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So let's do, here's a question. There was a question about, Tanya Marie, it's definitely an interesting study talking about the Myers-Briggs. I'm interested in psychology, so I'd be curious to see the connections too. Oh, Ness, we can look at the majors for archetypes of them. Yeah. Okay, Dina, I do want to do something now and see what happens, but what is the it you're referring to here? Because we've got a few ideas. It was Dora, that's it, yes. I wonder what I could ask the cards about my 14-year-old Labrador who is quite ill. I'm so sorry. I feel she is not going to stay here long. Well, let's do, can we do that reading? Because that, again, is a very seasonally appropriate reading. Oh, ask the cards who is around us now. Yes, let's do that. Oh, Ice Chan, you got your gastric sleeve. I hope you're feeling okay. Okay, so Carolyn B. Okay, it was an astrology card. I asked her if that was her brother's sign, and it wasn't. And I asked her who she knows that was that sign. It was her mother's sign, and she was in spirit. I continued to shuffle the cards. Oh, the Labrador's name is Wicca. Okay, yes, we will do the who's around. Y'all, if you have cards and you don't have them with you, get them. If you don't have cards at all, that's okay. But if you do have cards, get them with you if you can. And I'm going to do, just to show you sort of how I would handle Dora's question. I'm going to handle Dora's question. But I want you to do this reading. I'll do this first because you can get it. You can do the reading and then you can let us know what you got. So you're going to do it for you yourself. I'll do it for me. Who in spirit is around me right now watching over me? So I got the Wheel of Fortune. And the thing I'm thinking about is the 4 evangelists are also the 4 archangels. And so I see that as like the highest level, like not necessarily those who have passed on and watch over me right now, but like the 4 archangels are with me. You know, that kind of thing is what I got. But you can also do more than one card. Who is with me right now? Okay, so this could be a person who passed on, perhaps in a difficult way, perhaps where there was some depression or upset, perhaps passed on leaving a secret, Mom, right? So you might pull a few cards to find the personality. Okay, so now, you can pull one card, you can pull many. I will try to help you if you don't know what it is, but you must take a stab at it first. Who do you think it is? What do you think it's saying? You have to take the stab first. Dina, my father is not alive now. The father who raised me, who was actually my adoptive father, was a Methodist minister, actual dual ordination, Methodist and Congregational at the end of his life. And he is no longer living. Betty, see, I would look at that spread and say no one. Yeah, no, there's always someone. The question that you're going to do is who's around me right now? And then the follow-up question, once you determine who it is now you're going to say, what would you like me to know? And let us know how it goes. Okay, so now I am going to do the Wicca of the Labrador. And here's what I'm going to do. First of all, and we're going to do a class on animal communication in November. But first of all, I'm going to be like, okay, what does Wicca the dog, like what's going on for it's a her, right? What's going on there? I feel like Wicca is a little confused and not feeling well. So we're already seeing, like, we're not feeling well. There's an issue here. We're not feeling well. So the next thing I would ask is, what do you need to know as Wicca's guardian? You are going to be making a decision very soon. There it is. There it is. How will you know when it's time? You'll know, and it's coming. So there it is. Okay, so back to Carolyn's story that I was really enjoying. Okay, so we asked him to give my mom a message that only she would understand. The card that came up was an ocean and a boat. I told my mom that he really wanted to take her to the ocean and on a boat. Since he wasn't here, he wanted her to go to the ocean and he would be with her. She started crying and told me that this past year he wanted to take her to the ocean on a boat and that they would have a great time. No one knew this information, and how crazy that card pops up. Yes, there it is. If you trust, it will happen. Okay, so now let's take a look at people's readings. What do we have? Okay. Oh, interesting, Pat. I feel a bunch of dads around us in spirit when we ask. Nice. Okay, so you must give me... Oh, Ice Chan, you're having some heartburn. Yeah, I understand. That's been... that's... I guess expected with that procedure. Okay, Dora, I got the Chariot, which makes total sense. It is associated to my male Orisha, and Tuesday is his day. Bang. And everyone pay attention. We had two situations today, where who's around me was not necessarily a human. I got the 4 archangels. We have an Orisha. It could be anyone or anything. It can be your animals in spirit as well. Okay. Okay, so Anna K, King of Cups. So that's likely a person, right? What person do you think that might be? And we recognize that when we get the court cards, they can be ancestors, and they can be ancestors that we didn't even meet. It could be like a great-great-grandfather. So how do you figure out who it is? Sometimes I think it's just playing it out in your mind and asking the card, sort of saying to the card, well, we'll pretend it's this one, are you my great-grandfather? Are you my great-great-grandfather? And you could pull more cards to get yes, no. You could use a pendulum, or you could just intuit it. Okay. Okay, so Christina, you're trying to figure out who's with you. You've got the Chariot, King of Cups, Ace of Swords. Those court cards are helpful, right? Right? What do you think? And pulling more cards is definitely the right thing to do, right? That's definitely what you want to do. Okay, so let's see. So Nick, what I'm going to say to you is don't think about your tarot deck as associated with your spirituality. I know that sounds silly, but I think so often we get like so into the spiritual nature of tarot, we forget that it's just a damn good day-to-day tool. You know, like when I'm upset, I still use my toothbrush. When I'm upset, I still cook food on my stove. So why wouldn't I also still use my cards? So Nick, that doesn't really happen. If that's happening, that's you. You're like, that is more likely a concern regarding your ability to keep your focus. Like, I'm not worried. I am never worried about deceptive spirits. I have to tell you that. And I'm not saying it can't happen, but mostly it's us. We are the deceivers. So the question is, are you deceiving yourself? Don't blame that on an outside entity. It's likely you. Okay. And I'm not saying that we should be spiritually frivolous, but I am saying that I have seen way more from humans that is dangerous than I have from the spirit world. Okay. So, let's see. So Barbie Bird, what are you doing with the 10 of Wands and then the 5 and 9 of Wands? Do you have someone born under a fire sign, perhaps? Oh, good, Nick. Thanks for understanding that. Good. Yeah, so Dina, you know that, yeah, the Wheel of Fortune is a very significant card spiritually. And actually that one connects me to my mom as well. And I just remembered why. And it's because of what you just said, Dina. Connects me to my mom too. Barbie, you're stumped. So when I look at okay, so here's what we do with being stumped. We say, okay, I've got the 10 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, and the 5 of Wands, but I have no idea what to do with that. I would continue to read on it. I would say like this, okay, what do we do with that? It seems to be coming from a female relative. Excuse me. It seems to be coming from a female relative. And when we look at those cards, 10 of Wands, 9 of Wands, 5 of Wands, I'm going to say a female ancestor, maybe known to you in life, maybe not, who had a really difficult life, who handled a lot of burdens and maybe went through a ton of conflict. And maybe even died not of natural causes, just because of the wounding in the 9 of Wands. Maybe even died of not natural causes. A person who may not have been admirable in life, but is here to guide you now. Right, exactly, Dina, someone who lost a lot. So you may know who that is, you may not know who that is, but that's the energy. Let me know what you think, Barbie Bird. Okay. So Anna Kay, and thanks for being a member. We appreciate you. Thank you to all the members. I appreciate all of you so much. Page of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords. Okay, here's what I would get from that, Anna Kay. 10 of Pentacles, we're going to say definitely ancestry. Page of Pentacles, probably someone who died at a younger age. 6 of Swords, someone on the other side of an ocean. So whether it's someone from your home country or a different country from your home country, like that could go into geography. So that could help narrow it down. Dina Moskowitz, I got the 4 of Cups. Someone who is mad about being dead. That's interesting. I would definitely want more cards with that one. Ness, so good to see you. Thanks for being a member. I had the Page of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, and Ace of Swords. No one is here. It's just my idea. No, there's always someone here. I mean, I really go with the belief there's always someone. You got to find someone in those cards. You pull cards until you find someone. I would go with someone who passed on young, but not necessarily poor. I would say someone who passed on young, who was intelligent and grounded. Barbie Bird. I can't seem to think who it could be, since all my known female relatives have died of natural causes. But my grandma had a super hard life. It could be your grandma. It could be. It really could be. Right, Anna Kay. Wouldn't have thought about the geographic element. Sure. Trey, I actually see the Four of Cups as someone at peace. Yeah, no, that makes sense too. Absolutely. And so let's see. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. Ness is like, oh, I'll work on that. Good. So we do recognize that we may be able to come up with a person, but not necessarily a person that we identify. Now, if you're doing a professional reading, ideally, you really want to give them someone that they identify with. But, in our last, we have 2 minutes. Let me just go back for 1 minute. We have 2 minutes left. I want to talk about the other kind of mediumship where it's, I want to hear from Uncle Larry. This is my protocol. Some of you know it. I might use it, I might not, depending. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Dina. In all honesty, that's what I was thinking. So I might just, depending on the situation, if the person's been dead for a long time, I might just be like, okay, Uncle Larry, what do you have to say? Or, what are you doing, Uncle Larry? What's going on? Oh, look, Uncle Larry's with your mother, right? So it might be something like that. But if it is someone who has passed on recently, I'm going to do my protocol, which is some cards for who this person was when they were alive. What about the death? What did they experience at death? Who was there to greet them? And what message do they have now? Separate readings. That's how I would do that. Right, Betty Flesher, we're really looking for evidence. We're looking for something that they can hang on to. Yeah. Which is why asking for that message that someone, give me, what is the message? What is the message? Is such an important thing. Teresa, I've heard a few times it's best to wait a year or so after someone's passes to correct through a medium. Is there any truth to that? If Kimmy, the medium that rocks, is here, I'd love to hear from her what she thinks about that. For me, no. I want you in my office as quickly as possible because I'm going to help you with your grief. We're going to talk about what happened, and we're going to talk about what's going on right now. And medium that rocks says, I don't think so. Yeah, agreed. I want you quick. And medium that rocks agrees with me. Oh, can you repeat those protocols? Right. And the way I do it is I ask the question and I pull as many cards as make sense. So, okay, I'll do my mom. Okay. My mom does not mind me doing her because there it is. Okay. So Diane, who was Diane in life? She was a loving person. She was a mad person. She died of an illness that was very difficult, and it was near her heart. It was lung cancer. She had a good marriage. She was friendly and had many, many friends. And she was creative. Okay, fine. What can we know? And I've never done this. And for me, her death was very traumatic. Her death, yes, but the moment of her death was very, very traumatic. I had left the hospital. I had to leave. And she died after I left. I was pissed. I was so pissed. So, okay, what was her death experience? She was just waiting for my dad. And when he came to get her, she was sad to have to leave. She died relatively young. She was sad to have to leave, and she did have brain surgery as part of it. And it was some work, it was some labor. But there was nothing here for her anymore. It couldn't. And so she went, and it was confusing and difficult. But so she went. Okay. So then, the third one is when she got to the other side, what happened? Interesting. She's greeted by someone, I don't know who that is. It could be a friend I don't know about, someone who passed on earlier. But she was greeted by someone other than my dad, in addition to my dad. And she was fine. She recognized that she could be fine here. It was fine. She recognized it was fine. Nope, her brother's still living. Oh, Dina, you said something. I happen to know my grandmother had a miscarriage. So maybe it was a brother. You never know. You never know. Peggy Lou, we missed you. We missed you. And we're hoping the hurricane stays away from you. So now the final is a message. What is the message? I will do you, Peggy Lou. Give me 1 second. I will do that. What is the message from my mother to me? A message of love. It's that simple. So that's the protocol. Peggy Lou. Okay, Peggy Lou has been a member at the Stars level for 3 years. So we're going to do her a solid. She's in Oak Hill, Florida, which is a little further north and therefore maybe in the path. So let's do an ancestral invocation for everyone in the path of the storm, including Peggy Lou. We'll do that in a moment. But before we do that, let's just do a reading for Peggy Lou as she faces the storm. Peggy, your ancestors are with you. I think you're going to be fine. I think it's going to be fine. Oh, Trey, your family in Sarasota is evacuated. Good. And now, for all of us, how about some protection? Why don't we call to say, when we say goodbye, why don't we call on all the ancestors? And you can take out any cards that make sense to you for this. For protection in all things, like let's focus on the storm right now because that's where we're at. But we've got people in wars. We've got all kinds of things going on. So let's ask for the ancestors' protection. Let's ask for the ancestors' protection. And here's how I do this. With the 10 of Cups, may we all feel safe in our homes. With Judgment, may our angels watch over us, and may we be forgiven for the misdeeds of our past. May we be free to travel and be where we need to be. May the sun shine for us. May we be secure. May we have fun. May our ancestors guide us. And yes, may we keep the AC on. There it is. Salt and herbs around everywhere. There it is. Smile Soul 20. Real quick for you, yes, because you just had a birthday and you've been a member for 3 years. 4 of Wands for protection of homes. There it is. Smile Soul 20. There are things that are pissing you off. Be patient. Be patient and kind. Your ancestors will take care of the assholes. Right, keep our can the ancestors weaken the monster hurricane? I suppose they could. I suppose they could. I suppose they could. My friends, I want to thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate all of you so much. A special shout out to the members and the moderators, of course. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Oh my goodness gracious, Peggy Lou, you get to meet them on Friday. Oh, I am so glad. That's something to look forward to. Pictures, we want pictures. And members of this channel, we are doing mediumship readings for our members only live at the end of the month. The link is already up. If you're not a member, you might want to become one. And if you are a member, mark your calendar because we're going to do a whole session of mediumship readings. I think it's like the 28th for our members only live stream. My friends, I wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Take good care. And thanks for being part of this village. Thanks for being part of this community. Have a great night. Be safe. Florida peeps, make sure you check in. Take good care. Sally, great to see you. Be good. Take care. Good evening.